For decades, an unsettling silence has fallen over the wild places of the world. People vanish, not just from remote, untamed wilderness, but from well-trodden trails, familiar campgrounds, and national parks visited by millions. These aren't tales of criminals or runaways. They are stories of ordinary people, experienced hikers, hunters, even small children, who step out of sight for a moment and are never seen again. They disappear without a sound, without witnesses, and without logical explanation, leaving behind a legacy of questions that defy easy answers. This phenomenon has a name: Missing 411. Tonight, we delve into the heart of this mystery. We will examine real, documented cases, piecing together verified timelines, official statements, and the strange, often disturbing physical evidence left behind. This is not speculation. This is not fiction. This is what is known and what remains unanswered. Before we explore individual cases, it's crucial to understand the chilling patterns that connect them. Across hundreds of disappearances spanning different states and decades, investigators have identified recurring, inexplicable elements. Victims vanish silently and suddenly, often within seconds, even when surrounded by others. Search and rescue dogs, some of the best in the world, frequently lose the scent abruptly, as if the person simply ceased to exist at that spot. The weather often takes a sudden, dramatic turn for the worse, immediately following a disappearance, hampering search efforts. In many cases, victims are eventually found in areas that had already been thoroughly searched, sometimes multiple times. Footwear is a bizarrely common theme. Shoes are frequently found, neatly placed, miles from the body, or are missing altogether. Victims are often discovered at impossibly high elevations, far above where they were last seen, in terrain they could not have logically traversed. And perhaps most unnerving, when bodies are recovered, there is often no clear cause of death. These threads tie together cases from disconnected wilderness areas across North America and beyond. With that context, we begin with one of the earliest and most foundational cases in the Missing 411 Chronicle. On June 14, 1969, in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, 6-year-old Dennis Lloyd Martin was playing a simple game with his family. As they hiked along the popular Spencefield Trail, Dennis decided to play a prank, stepping behind a bush to jump out and surprise his parents. They waited. He never emerged. Within minutes, a casual family outing turned to panic. Dennis had vanished in broad daylight, surrounded by adults, without a single scream, struggle, or sound. An immense search was launched, one of the largest in the park's history. Over 1,400 searchers, including Green Berets from Fort Bragg, scoured the area. But the forest held its secrets. Despite ideal tracking conditions, the dogs lost his scent almost immediately. Then came the strange reports. Another family, hiking several miles away, reported hearing a huge, sickening scream that afternoon. Shortly after, they saw a rough-looking man hurrying through the undergrowth, carrying something red over his shoulder, the same color as Dennis's shirt. The sighting was dismissed. The location was deemed too far away. Days later, a set of unusual tracks was found. A child's shoe print, alongside the print of a large, barefoot adult. This too was officially dismissed. Heavy rains soon washed away any further clues. No trace of Dennis Martin was ever found. His case became a chilling blueprint for the mysteries to come. 30 years later, the pattern repeated. On October 2, 1999, 3-year-old Jared Atadero was hiking with a group on the Comanche Peak Trail in Colorado. He was last seen running ahead on the trail, just out of sight of the adults. He was gone in an instant. The search for Jared was massive, but yielded nothing. For 3.5 years, the case went cold. Then, in June 2003, hikers made a startling discovery, 550 vertical feet above the trail. In rugged, treacherous terrain, a 3-year-old could not have climbed. They found Jared's clothing, his fleece pullover, and his pants, which were turned inside out. Nearby, a single tooth and a fragment of a skull were found. The evidence was baffling. The clothes were clean, with no signs of an animal attack. His shoes, found separately, were also in remarkably good condition. How did his clothes get there? Why were his pants inside out? And how did a small child end up in such an inaccessible location? The official cause of death was undetermined, but for his family and for investigators of the 411 phenomenon, the case was a disturbing echo of the impossible circumstances seen time and again. The phenomenon is not limited to children. Experienced outdoorsmen are also among the missing. In September 2014, 38-year-old Aaron Hedges, an avid hunter, was on an elk hunting trip with two friends in the crazy mountains of Montana. He became separated from his party, but was in radio contact, stating he was unsure of his location and would hunker down for the night. It was the last time anyone heard from him. An extensive search began. For nearly 2 years, there was nothing. Then, in the summer of 2016, his remains were found. But the location and condition of his belongings only deepened the mystery. His backpack, filled with supplies, was found in one location. His boots were found in another, miles away. His body was discovered in a third location, a staggering 15 miles from where he was last known to be, in an area that made no logical sense for a lost hunter to travel. He had a handgun, a radio, and survival gear. Yet he was found without his boots, having traveled an incredible distance over brutal terrain. The official cause of death was listed as hypothermia, but the circumstances defied all conventional wisdom about survival and human behavior in the wild. How does an experienced hunter get so lost? And why would he abandon his essential gear, especially his boots? Dennis Martin, Jared Atadero, Aaron Hedges. 3 different people from 3 different decades, in 3 different locations. Yet their stories are woven together by the same threads of high strangeness. Silent disappearances, failed canine searches, impossible locations, and bizarre evidence that creates more questions than answers. These are just a few of the hundreds of cases that make up the missing 411 enigma. While conventional explanations in Nemo attacks, getting lost, foul play can account for many disappearances, they fall short here. The patterns are too consistent, too strange, and too widespread to be easily dismissed. Are these just tragic coincidences, a collection of unrelated anomalies, or is there something else at play? In our wild places, a factor that law enforcement and search and rescue professionals acknowledge but cannot explain. The silence from the authorities is as deafening as the silence that fell over the forest the moment these individuals vanished. The mystery of missing 411 endures. A haunting reminder that there are still corners of our world where the known rules do not apply, and where the line between the seen and the unseen is terrifyingly thin.